And welcome to another edition of Ducks Know Sports. This week, I'm going to give you my mid-season report on the NBA. Of course, we're a little more than just halfway through the NBA season. It's been pretty interesting with a lot of teams being good this year I didn't see, and a lot of teams being bad this year I didn't see. But right now, I'm going to give you my top 5 storylines of this, halfway through of this NBA season. Alright, number 5. The Raptors' up and down season. You know, when the season started, there was high hopes for the Raptors. You know, getting Lowry in the offseason, Valanciunas coming over from Europe. There was a lot of expectations going in the season that they would have been a good season. And training camp, they were pretty good. And preseason, you know, I think they went undefeated. So it looked pretty good. But then, of course, the start of the season just get off to this just horrendous start. You know, I think they even got so bad they were like 4-20. But since then, they've really turned around. They're playing really good for the last couple months, playing really well. And then, boom, a couple weeks ago, Colangelo finally showed he had his set and pulled off the big deal. Of course, bringing in Rudy Gay, which is what this team needed. They need this closer, guy in the final seconds that will just take the ball and score. And something they haven't really had since Vince Carter was there. You know, I'm very, very impressed with the way Rudy Gay. I've never seen a guy come in and just own a team from the jump. And just as soon as he stepped foot in that locker room, he was the go-to guy. And just really, really impressive. And I think ended up being a great trade. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes for the Raptors, because they do have a big hill to climb after that horrible start. I think they're now like a good 6-7 games out of the playoff spot. So they're running out of time. I mean, they're going to have to play really well down the stretch and kind of hope that teams like the Celtics and the Bucks don't play as well as they've been playing lately. But will be interesting. But for the Raptors this year, losing so many games at the last second, that's going to probably come back to bite them in the end. As the Raptors' up and down season is my 5th storyline of the year. And I'll say what, for the future, Toronto Raptors I think is good with Rudy Gay. And if they can, if they can pull this deal off to get Boozer in from Chicago, I think they will have a chance to make the playoffs. But that all being said, I think it'll be an uphill battle. But the Raptors' up and down season is my 5th storyline of the. All right, now my 4th storyline of this NBA season has to be the Warriors come out and play, as the Golden State Warriors for the last couple years have been a bad team, a disgusting team. But it seems under coach Mark Jackson, they finally turn around and they're playing very good ball right now. You know, they sit basically 5th in the West right now, and this team could make some noise in the playoffs, I think, with that home court. You know, we remember the home court from a couple seasons ago. Against Dallas, you know, where they upset Dallas in the first round when they were an 8th seed. And I just think that home court is just so loud, probably the loudest arena in the NBA, maybe next to OKC, but just wow. I think with this team playing the way they can, playing hard defense, which haven't been saying much for the Golden State Warriors. You know, they've always been, you know, a flashy up and down the court kind of team, but not lately, as they've been really playing well defensively. Andrew Bogut's played very well since he got traded there a year ago, and I think this team gets the right matchup. Maybe against a Memphis or an LA Clippers, I really think they can lay the hammer with home court. If they get home court, that's huge. And my 4th storyline here is the Golden State Warriors finally coming back to promise. Storyline number 3 has to be the New York Knicks are back. Since the 90s, New York Knicks have not been a good team. They've been a joke, probably the joke of the NBA. But this year, they seem to be back. You know, a couple years you've seen promise, you know, with Melo coming over, Starmer coming over. But it finally shows right now they are probably the best they've been in years. And Melo's just playing out of this world. MVP-type guy this year. That's how good he's been playing. And probably won't win the MVP. I think it goes to LeBron or Durant, but he is playing on that level right now. And Stammer, to my surprise, you know, when the team was playing well, while he was gone, I really thought he would sulk and not take the role that he's been given, which is a guy off the bench. I thought he would demand to be a starter, but to my surprise, he hasn't. He's been a good boy since he's come back. He's playing well off the bench too. Really his role coming off, be that sixth man, that guy, the key guy off the bench, playing well, because I think that's what hurt the Knicks in the end, is that they don't have much depth to their team, and I think Melo can't win it all the time. Melo can't put 40 points every night, and if they face the Heat in the Eastern Finals, I think they will. I think this will be the big issue, is their depth, because the Heat are a lot deeper, and the Knicks, except for Summer, are not really that key guy off the bench. But it's good. I think it's good for the league to have the New York Knicks back being a top team, because I think New York Knicks are one of the most key franchise in the NBA. And hey, if the Knicks can go to the NBA Finals, I think it'll be great for the league. And hey, like you say, my third storyline are New York Knicks are back in town. They're playing well. And how well are they? How well can they play? Only time will tell. Storyline number 2 can the Heat repeat? As this whole season, man, it seems like the Heat have this chip on their shoulder ever since they brought the big three in there with Wade, adding with LeBron and Bosh. As from the jump of the season, they've been on a different level than everyone else in the Eastern Conference. Maybe except the New York Knicks. Struggled maybe a little bit a couple weeks ago, but LeBron James the last couple weeks has been nothing but just, showing that he is the best basketball player on planet Earth. Is a great player right now, and the Heat are playing well. A lot deeper than last year. They got Ray Allen now. They got a few more guys, Rashard Lewis coming off the bench too. They're a lot deeper than they were last year, so they can be even more dangerous than they were last year. And let's be honest, except for that really series with the Pacers, never really ran into any problems in the playoffs. And there's not a team in the Eastern Conference I think can even match up with the Miami Heat right now. That's how good they're playing right now. And will be interesting on how they play the rest of the year. But I think the Heat are clear-cut the best team in the East. And I think we'll walk to the NBA Finals this year. So can the Heat repeat? I think they can, but will be interesting what happens, because I think they'll be having a little rematch from last year. So storyline number 2 is, can the Heat repeat? And number 1, of course, number 1 storyline of the year has to be the Lakers' woes. We're talking about Kobe Bryant adding with Paul Gasol, adding Steve Nash and Dwight Howard. 4 arguably future Hall of Famers, and this team is not even in the playoffs. They're not even close to the playoffs. This is maybe the greatest disaster in the history of the NBA. Might be a bold statement, but I think it reigns supreme here. And it's just clear that Kobe and Dwight and Nash and Gasol, it's pretty clear they just don't mesh. And I think this is good for the NBA to have this happen, because as we the last couple of years, like the Celtics, when they just pick good players and put them on a team, they win championship. Or the Heat, they put all these good players on a team, they win a championship. It's good for a small market team to show that you just can't just buy your way to the NBA championship. You just can't just pick up players from other teams, put them on a team, and hope it works and win the championship. It gives hope to a team like a Milwaukee Bucks or Toronto Raptors or a Dallas Mavericks, like a small market type team that just can't go and buy their players. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like, players around the league are not going to scheme to make the Toronto Raptors an NBA power. It's not going to happen. So I think it's good for the league for a team like this to struggle. So it shows that you still need to build it the right way, which is through the draft. And let's be honest, none of these players are getting any younger. You got Kobe Bryant, who's probably on his last legs, probably play the next 2 seasons, that's it. Steve Nash, I don't see hanging around much longer. Gasol's getting out of the road. Dwight Howard's interesting because he's still young enough that he can still get a max contract in the summer. And you have a big problem in your hands right now, because Kobe and Dwight, it's pretty clear they don't like each other. They're not getting along. And in a dream world, I think the Los Angeles Lakers would love just to re-sign Dwight Howard to a max deal and have him and Kobe play together the next couple of years. But I just think the way that Dwight Howard has conducted himself the last year, I don't think the Lakers want anything to do with that. And it's pretty clear him and Kobe do not get along. And I see a situation where if you're not even near the playoffs in a week when the NBA trade deadline rolls around, I gotta think you have to cut bait. You have to trade this guy because there is just there's no way that you can get this done because this guy's gonna walk in the summer. You're gonna get nothing for him, and you're gonna look so stupid. Because I don't think he'll stick with the Lakers next year. I don't think he wants to resign. I don't think he will resign. I think he'll end up going to a team probably like Brooklyn. That he's always wanted to play there. Wants to play for Jay-Z. So that's where I think he'll end up going. But it's just been a disaster from the jump, and you can't believe what you're seeing because 4 future Hall of Famers on one team, you figure it'd be a given that they'd be in the playoffs, maybe in the Western Finals, like I thought they would be. But it's not working. And storyline number 1 of this 2012-13 NBA season, midway through, has to be the Lakers' woes. All right, that's it for now, but stay tuned because in a week is the NBA trade deadline, and I'll probably do a video on the fallout, so it should be interesting. Who gets traded? I'm not expecting a lot of movement. I expect the Raptors to trade Bargnani. Maybe Dwight Howard trade, but I'm not really thinking. I see a lot of little trades, but I don't think we'll see much come next Thursday. But hey, who knows? Only time will tell. But until next time, I'm Eric Duxbury saying I'm Dux, and I know sports. Kind of.